Hey there, here we are again, footy fans having footy fun with Footy Finn, and you guessed it, from the Jersey, a rugby union post now, back to the 15-man code. And listen, I didn't know when this was going to happen, but the Wallabies have just announced their squad for the Rugby World Cup that begins in France next month. I think it's 29 days away. Couple of big surprises here. So we've got Eddie Jones back at the helm as coach. I like to call him Snake Oil Eddie, Snake Oil, that is. He's come out with a few surprises. I think with Eddie, sometimes he just likes the shock factor, and he likes to appear kind of really left field and out of the box and a lateral thinker, but sometimes he actually takes it a bit too far. So there's a couple of interesting ones here, and I'm a bit sceptical about a couple of things. But the biggest, probably one of the biggest shocks, is that until recently, the captain, Michael Hooper, has been left out of the team. This guy, who's a forward, he's played, I think, 125 games for the Wallabies, which is, I think, the third highest ever. Apparently, he's captained the Wallabies more than anyone else. I think that was 69 times. And he picked up a calf injury last month. And look, he's just been left completely out of the team. I think this would have been his third World Cup. Actually, given that it was a bit of an uncertain calf injury, I actually don't have a big problem with this selection. Look, he was a great player, not a big man, so pretty small for a forward, but very gutsy. But at the same time, I do think that he was captain of the Wallabies over a pretty poor run of a few years, and so psychologically this is a bit of a moving on as well, I think. So look, I don't have an issue with that selection as such. I think the only test he played this year, which would have been in Argentina, he was co-captain with James Slipper. Now, for some reason, James Slipper's in the squad. He's a prop, but he's not named as one of the captains. Who is the captain, the new captain? It's a fella called Will Skelton, a huge mountain of a man, second rower, plays his club rugby in France these days, and in fact, he's won 2 European championships with a club called La Rochelle. And in fact, just thinking off the top of my head here, because this is all hot off the press, by the way, you're hearing this first on Footy Fin, maybe the fact that he's based in France, has been for a few years, has had the success, but also this World Cup is in France. That's probably part of Snake Oil Eddie's thinking. I'm thinking there. I'm thinking about Eddie's thinking. So anyway, that's another shock. A few other interesting omissions. There's a forward called Jed Holloway who's missed out. A few other surprises. But look, the biggest one of all, how many fly halves or 5/8s in the 33-man squad is Eddie taking to the World Cup? 2, 3, no, 1. 1. This is pretty much the most critical position on the field. And we've got a young fella, Carter Gordon, who has played 2 tests ever as 5/8, and he is the one and only 5/8 Eddie Jones is taking to the World Cup. None others. Which is absolutely ridiculous, in my view. Ridiculous. Linked to this, the other major omission, big news, is that the quite legendary Quade Cooper has been totally left out of the squad. Now, he has been playing in recent tests. Look, he's been around for a long time. This would have been his 4th World Cup. Look, he's just been completely left out. And again, I don't necessarily have a huge problem with not having him in the test team, but I would have thought, you want to take more than one specialist 5'8" to a World Cup. And B, it wouldn't hurt to have access to his knowledge and experience there. Even if he doesn't make the 23 for the crunch games, so be it. So this is a big surprise. There has in recent years been others like James O'Connor, who's also been around a long time, and then a younger fella, Noah Lolesio, who's played quite a few tests in that position. I don't know, is he injured? I'm not sure, but just in my mind, it's a ridiculous call to only take 1/5/8 to a World Cup, let alone a young fellow in his early 20s who's only ever started 2 tests there, and they've been the last 2 tests against the All Blacks. So ridiculous. But I'm going to throw out a little interesting theory, and that is that maybe Eddie's got a bit of a plan B in mind. Maybe they get to France, someone's going to get injured, and they're going to need to call in another back, and that's where they're going to call in Quade Cooper. You wouldn't put anything past Eddie. But listen, just another bit of history. When the All Blacks won the World Cup in 2011, who kicked the winning goal in the final? It was a fellow called Beaver, Stephen Donald, who I think was their 4th choice 5'8". Certainly at least their 3rd at the time. Dan Carter got injured. They had Aaron Cruden. I think there might have been another one. So that just shows that you need more than one player in any given position in a World Cup, let alone 5'8". Lastly, this is a team for the future. I mean, Eddie talks his spiel about thinking they can win this. They're not going to win this World Cup. If they even make the semi-finals, the Wallabies, it'll probably be seen as a positive by many people. They're not going to win this. So regardless of what Eddie says, this is definitely a squad with a view to the future. Anyway, that's my wrap. Just wanted to see it. Just came across the press release, so just wanted to get run through it. Anyway, I've got to go and watch Manly play the Panthers. Until next time, take it easy. See you. Catch you under the sticks.